Curfews have been issued, sports has been canceled, and now Wes and Bananas are working together? What is this world coming to? It's back. Hello, welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that had people sleeping in bunkers before it became mainstream. That's right, we're talking about The Challenge Season 35 Total Madness Episode 1. That's right, The Challenge is officially back. Woo! And in this premiere, we learned that Jenny loves to do math problems with guinea pigs. Kayla, Jenna, and Nani have new merch in their Etsy shop, and Bear is still a slag, but that wasn't really a shocker there. Now let's start off where this episode begins, and that is the crew and the competitors being brought in on a military-grade cargo plane, and this is one of the coolest openings to a challenge ever. I love the song, I love TJ opening up the doors, taking a head count as everybody gets into this challenge bus, and this challenge bus drives them to the exact middle of nowhere where everybody is then having to walk through this foggy forest, making it to the first daily challenge. And once everyone is there, that's when TJ lays out the ground rules for this season of the challenge, where everyone's going to be competing for $1 million, and this is going to be kind of like Free Agents, where it's going to be a solo game, but even though it's a solo game, when you're coming into the daily challenge, it's going to be a mixed bag. You're either going to be playing in as a team, pairs, or solo. You don't know what it could be, but remember, the only person you can trust is yourself. And then we kick this season off with a daily challenge called Battle Lines. And in this daily challenge, you have a barrel of medical supplies that you're gonna have to transport 500 feet throughout this field in 3 different stages. And in between each stage, you have to either solve a puzzle or a math problem. And while you're trying to do that, TJ is going to be taking a couple of tanks, trying to destroy your barrel, trying to cut you off from going on to the next stage, where the field will be whittled down to where there's only going to be a certain few that are going to make it onto the third and final stage, and then it's going to be a foot race. You have to try to win it to get into the first tribunal of this season. So the guys are starting off first, and they are coming out firing at will. They are trying to bring in these barrels. On the first stage, less than half of the guys are eliminated, so they move on to the puzzle part. However, these puzzles and these math problems are no joke, as they are taking out a lot of people. The first person actually to make it onto the second stage for the guys was Josh, and then followed by Rogan, CT, and Fessy. They're making it onto the second stage. However, only 3 people make it onto the final stage for the guys, and that is Rogan, CT, and Fessy. And Rogan is beasting it out on this side spool, and he gets his medical supplies, throws it on that table, and takes home the win, and he's going to secure his spot for the first tribunal of the season. Now, the ladies are up, and these ladies are not taking this as a joke whatsoever. They're putting their all into it. Jenny is the first girl to make it onto the second stage. Dee is right behind her, and that's pretty much the storyline throughout this first daily challenge, as half the girls are taken out in stage 1, the rest of them are taken out in stage 2, where there's only 2 girls left heading into the final stage, and that is Jenny and Dee. And actually, Dee has a bit of a lead over Jenny heading into the third spool, trying to spool her in. However, Jenny is able to beast this out, and she is able to overtake Dee's lead and actually win her spot into the tribunal. And now I know what you're thinking. Hey, tribunal means 3. You only said 2 names. Now Rogan and Jenny will have to come together and make a consensus and a pick on who they want to be the 3rd member of their tribunal. They're throwing out some names to one another. They're talking about Corey, Nani, or Josh. They want somebody neutral, maybe somebody that they can use this as like, hey, this is a sign of goodwill. We brought you in to power, so now we want something from you later on in the game. So they decide to choose Corey. This is a surprise to a lot of people, especially Corey, as he's not played with Jenny or Rogan at all, but he knows that, hey, I like to be safe. It's a guy's elimination week, and I love to be in power, so why not? Let's do this. I'm gonna be here at least until week 3. Before they leave to go check out the new challenge house, that's when TJ lays down the ground rules for the new voting system. Now, whoever's not in the tribunal will all come together and nominate one person to go straight into the elimination or purgatory. Then the tribunal, who wasn't in that nomination ceremony, will nominate one person each, and they will interrogate them one by one to see who they want to send into the elimination against the house's vote. Everybody understands, they all are excited to get to this brand new house, this big old mansion. However, it's not a mansion, it's an underground bunker. People are freaking out, as we saw in the bunker sneak peek that was put out 2 or 3 weeks ago. People are freaking out, they don't know where anything is, they hate the bedrooms, except they find all the big old wide open spaces, the workout place, the pool, the champagne, they're popping it, they're having a good time. And in this moment, we kind of see alliances forming, friendships forming. Big T and Ashley are liking each other and kind of taking each other under each other's wings. We see Nany, Kayla, and Jenna forming what they call the Holy Trinity Alliance. And we also see Kayla and Casey kind of getting close to one another. Maybe they're gonna bring Casey into their numbers. Also, we see Nany getting very close with Asaf, and even so close that their mouths touch and they're sharing beds, and it's day 1. My gosh, Nany works fast, but you know what? He's chiseled out of marble. You have no idea how long you have in this house, so you gotta shoot your shot when you got it. Now let's head over to the nomination ceremony. Everybody but the Tribunal is in the living room having to talk about who they want to throw into the elimination. And right away, the spotlight goes straight to CT. He likes to ride the fence, but this time he is put out front and center to take the first shot. And we get to hear what CT is kind of thinking strategy-wise. So he's thinking that he doesn't want to ruffle too many feathers, so he's going to pick a rookie. There's 4 guy rookies. He doesn't want to put in Fessy because he looks like a behemoth. He doesn't want to do Swaggy C because he's tied with Bailey, and Bailey is somebody that either people are kind of afraid of to mess with, or they want to work with Bailey because they view her as a strong player, so they don't want to mess with Swaggy C at all. And then that leaves Asaf and Jay, and CT doesn't want to take a shot at Asaf because, hey, Nany is getting close with him, and he doesn't want her numbers coming after him, so he votes straight for Jay. And essentially the whole house is either voting for Jay or Asaf, and it is overwhelmingly for Asaf. And then Asaf wants to take a shot at WES, and WES gets super sensitive about it. Everybody is excited, riled up. Asaf is going straight into the elimination, and that's when WES gets all up in his feelings, and he gets so frustrated with everybody, but then he gets a much needed hug from Bananas. Wait, yes, you heard me right. WES and Bananas hug, and people think that's very weird, and it is weird because they've been at each other's throats for so many years and so many seasons, but then they drop the big old bomb that WES and Bananas are indeed working with each other. So I guess they're changing it up to see if maybe working together would push them past the threshold and make it to another finals. We have to wait and see. So that leaves the Tribunal having to decide who they want to put up for elimination or to a vote. Rogan doesn't like Kyle. Kyle doesn't like Rogan, but Rogan wants to use this as a leverage piece to be like, hey, I put you in the line of fire, but I didn't put you into elimination. So remember that I didn't put you in elimination. So when you get to be in the Tribunal, or if you get to be in the Tribunal, don't throw me in. Corey kind of does the whole thing of like, well, Asaf wants WES, why don't I just put WES in there and maybe we can throw him in there and maybe WES will kind of stumble like he did in War of the Worlds 2, does his dirty work and you get a big threat out of the house. Jenny is thinking, hey, this could save our butts if we put in Jay. The whole house kind of voted for Jay, and prospect versus prospect, rookie versus rookie, it kind of doesn't put too much blood on our hands if we go the safe route of throwing Jay into the elimination. We get the interrogation, the nominations, the numbers, everything gets put into a bucket, and we head straight over to the purgatory for the first elimination of this season. We all know that Asaf is going into this elimination, but who else is going to be joining him? The Tribunal gets the vote, and they vote unanimously 3-0 to put in Jay into the first elimination, and Jay is not surprised whatsoever. He has to go up against his friend in the house. I know it's been like 1 or 2 days in the house, but he doesn't want to send his friend home, but that's the way the challenge goes sometimes. So then they're going to be playing in an elimination called Airstrike. And in this elimination, you're going to be holding onto a trapeze bar, and there's going to be a wall, like a glass wall in the middle of you, and you can do whatever you can to make your opponent fall before you. The first person to get 2 out of 3 rounds wins, gets to stay in the game, and the other person is eliminated from this season early. Both guys come into this elimination with totally different strategies. Asaf is holding himself with L arms and trying to kick this wall as much as he can. He's using a lot of force in round 1 to try to kick the wall as hard as he can towards Jay to hopefully loosen his grip or make him lose focus on him holding this bar. On the other side, Jay is just trying to keep his arms out straight, alternate grip, and he's just trying to just hang there for as long as he can, because if you're holding out your arms and holding up your body, you're going to use up a lot of your strength, use up a lot of your grip strength, and it's not going to be a good situation for you in the long haul. So round 1, Asaf is kicking this thing as hard as he can at Jay. Jay is just trying to stand still as best as he can, and Asaf is using a lot of energy to where he just falls in round 1. It's not a good sign for him, as now he has to win 2 rounds in a row while Jay only has to win 1 more round. In the second round, it's a completely different game as both guys are trying to stay as still as possible. They're using the board to hold up each other's feet, and they're just trying to do their best, trying to close their eyes, focus on holding on as long as they can. However, Asaf is just kind of vibrating a little bit. He keeps on moving his grip. He's not doing so well, and he ultimately falls, and Jay wins 2-0 in his first elimination. Jay wins, gets to stay in the game, and Asaf is gone, leaving in episode 1 out the door, and he is ready and willing to come back to another challenge season. I know Nani's hoping for that too, but the episode was not over at that moment that Asaf left the purgatory grounds. Oh no. That's when TJ lets everyone know that of the twist that's happening in this season, that if you want to make it to a final, you have to win an elimination, as on each helmet there is a branding. If you have a dagger on your helmet, that means that you've won a challenge. If you have a skull, that shows how many eliminations you won in your challenge career. And if you get a red skull, that means you won an elimination this season. You have to get a red skull to make it into the finals. But just because you have a red skull doesn't mean that you're safe from going into more eliminations, which I feel as though Jay has already been put into an elimination, and we know that if you're put in once, you could have a good shot of being put in more times than not over the course of the season. But that's where this episode ends. What do you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what would you rank this premiere over all the other premieres that you've seen of the challenge? Let me know that in the comment section below. Were you sad to see Asaf leave? Were you sad to see Jay being thrown into the elimination? Did you wish that they made a bigger power move, maybe putting in WES or Kyle? Let me know that in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. And what do you think about WES and Bananas finally teaming up? Do you think that they could make it far together, or do you think this is going to blow up in their face, that they're both going to play with 2 different teams, 2 different strategies, and they're just going to start butting heads in the middle of this season? Let me know that in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, brief histories, top 10s, top 5s, fantasy cast videos, deep dives, and much more. Also join me next week for another challenge review and recap and Survivor review and recap on Thursdays. But thank you so much for watching, and until then, peace.